When you think of law enforcement and public safety, you probably think of scenes like this. Most of Larimer County's law enforcement and public safety work is less sensational and more a part of your everyday life. In the next few minutes, we'd like to give you a closer look at what these people do and how it's paid for. If you own a $240,000 home in Larimer County, you pay $1,670 a year in property taxes. $1,255, or 75%, goes to support schools, city services, and special districts. $415 goes to the county, and $161 of that goes to support law enforcement and public safety. Sometimes public safety is a matter of getting to know a community and being sure we're there when people need help. Deputy Brian Ficker has a project designed to do just that.
We're at Pruder Valley Trailer Park at 2025 North College. This is my community-oriented policing project. I'm going to be here for about 2 to 5 years. Morning, guys. How's it going?
Good.
You guys having a good weekend?
Yeah.
Good. It's approximately a 30 to 35-year-old park. I have approximately 352 trailers. Should have about 1,400 residents in here. We figure we have close to 2,000. So, kind of a small city to work with. Yes, it is. Beautiful Irish you have. Changed drastically in a year and a half. We've been able to find out what's going on internally in the park and get rid of a lot of the outsiders. There's a lot of trouble that comes in here from the outside. A lot of it is just spending time in the park, visibility, getting to know everybody so that not only they know what we're trying to accomplish, but finding out what they're trying to accomplish in their lives as well.
Sometimes public safety is as simple as education. The more people know about the things that endanger them, the better they can protect themselves.
Hello.
We educate seniors about scams that could threaten their savings.
No, thank you.
We talk to kids and their families about everything from bicycle safety to the hazards of drugs and drunk driving. We participate in car seat checks so parents can be sure their children's car seats work properly. Public safety is also as basic as being sure the buildings we live in are safe.
We inspect the foundation all the way up through completion. And in Larimer County, we do everything but the electrical, and that's done by the state. We check for code compliance, general code compliance, in the building code, the plumbing code, and the mechanical code. It's important that there's someone there to make sure that all the minimum life safety and code standards are met all the way through the process. The current and all the future homeowners can be assured that there's no life safety hazard in terms of structural hazard or plumbing hazard or a heating hazard.
We want people to build the house that they want to, their dream home in these beautiful mountains that we have. However, we like them to be able to build them in a way that is more fire resistant and safe for the residents moving in there, for their neighbors, and in the event of an incident, it's safe for firefighters to come in there and defend their structure.
You plan for disasters with the idea that you know that they're going to happen sooner or later.
Despite the best planning, bad things happen. It's then that the time and manner of response are critical.
If we get another Fort Collins-style flood, if we get another Big Thompson rain event, what are the likely consequences? As that's happening, what will we do? And every time we get one of these things, we learn a new lesson, virtually without exception.
Whether it's a large-scale disaster or something smaller, it's essential that the people responding work together to help.
Our goal is to make the county safe, number one. We have a lot of alarms, we have a lot of family problems, neighbor problems, burglaries, robberies, assaults,
Code 42224.
damage to property calls.
Neighbor 13 parties are running from the building through the fence and then back to the building.
The initial information is almost always given to us by dispatch.
If it's an emergency call, we can have that call on the air within 10 to 15 seconds of actually receiving the call.
They're the information givers. We have to trust them to give us good information and accurate information. Our life is on the line many times.
The Larimer County Sheriff's Office has 14 full-time dispatchers. We generally have 2 to 3 dispatchers on duty at a time. During busy times, during a busy fire season, we can have up to 6 people.
Through the Sheriff's Department, when somebody calls in 911
through a call box, cell phone, which is popular now from the mountains. They transfer that information to emergency services, and they make a decision what do they need resource-wise, whether it's a dive team call or is it search and rescue.
And basically, the way we approach it in Larimer County on a fire or rescue or what have you, we look at the event and the resources we need to get there, and we don't pay a lot of attention to jurisdiction. The object of the game is to get people there that have the expertise and skills to deal with it, and it doesn't matter who they work for. Let's just get people there to handle the problem. Obviously, at the end of that, we have to set back and look at jurisdictionals as far as cost, those kind of things.
As the emergency manager for Larimer County, we get a disaster, an emergency, a flood, forest fire, winter storm, whatever it might be. I help coordinate. What is our hazard? What are we going to do about it? What resources do we need? They need some equipment. They need food. They need shelter.
There's gear under the boat. Watch the step.
The Larimer County Dive Rescue Team and the Larimer County Search and Rescue Team are volunteer organizations that we coordinate on those types of events. Our fire crew, however, is paid. We actually train our own people. In the springtime, we have our big fire class and then put them through, and then when we use them here locally, they're paid.
When someone dies unexpectedly, whether from a natural disaster or in other circumstances, a new level of investigation is required.
The coroner's office is required to investigate any sudden unexpected death. This would include suicides, homicides, accidentals, and any natural where there's any sort of underlying suspicious or unusual circumstances. The sheriff's office and the police jurisdictions conduct similar investigations, but they are primarily interested on the question of if a crime was committed or not. Most deaths are not a crime. The only type of death that truly is a crime is a homicide. So we conduct a death investigation more to answer the questions on cause and manner of death. We work for the taxpayers of Larimer County, we work for the public, we work for the families of the deceased, but we consider ourselves the last voice of the decedent.
Any emergency may require a response from various teams, fire, police, medical, or even the coroner. Often the victims and their families need someone who is there just for them.
The victim response team is a group of about 15 volunteers, plus myself, that provide on-call coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, weekends, to respond to an emergency situation. And we do that by providing them with emotional support in the immediate aftermath of the traumatic situation. We also offer them information about what's happening with the investigation, what to expect from the criminal justice process, what's going to happen next, and also to provide them with resources that are available in the community.
Every single incident that's reported to the sheriff's office is initially investigated by a patrol officer, with very few exceptions. When there's a case that's very complicated or that requires extensive follow-up, then investigations handles those.
Every criminal case that's filed and prosecuted in the courts here in Larimer County, the district attorney's office is responsible for that prosecution. We are the attorney that represents the people of the state of Colorado, and in this case, that's the people of Larimer County, in prosecuting those offenses.
It's very important for us to be able to prove where the evidence has been at all times while it's in our custody.
If a crime has been committed, the web broadens. We must find, capture, and prosecute the perpetrators. In a county the size of Larimer, just keeping track of the evidence in a case can be a daunting task.
We have evidence signed and sealed by deputies. Once that's completed, the item is set into the locker. The locker is closed, and no one has access to these lockers except for the two people in evidence. So when I come in the morning, I can remove the items that were left here last night. We currently have over 7,000 items in inventory. An item can be kept for as little as 6 months if it's found property and up to forever if it's an unsolved homicide.
Get you to look up here at the camera.
Larimer County Detention Center is the only jail in Larimer County, so anyone arrested in any crime in the cities of Loveland, Fort Collins, Estes Park, Berthoud, anywhere in the county, they come to the Larimer County Detention Center.
The Larimer County Detention Center houses between 400 and 500 people. It's about as many people as you might see at an outdoor community summer concert. Housing these inmates takes 2/3 of the budget for all of law enforcement and public safety. It's the fastest rising cost in local government.
We have 17 attorneys in the district attorney's office. 6 of those attorneys are in the county court prosecuting misdemeanor and traffic offenses, and felonies are then prosecuted in district court. County court cases, any jail sentence that a person receives from that would be served at the Larimer County Detention Center. Felony cases, if they were sentenced to prison, that would be served at the Department of Corrections.
We're not here to punish them. Our job is to hold them. The punishment is given by the judge. And that means that we have to take care of all their needs. I mean, we have to give them clothes. We have to clean their clothes. We have to supply their food. So, you know, it's a big operation taking care of that many inmates, and we have a great staff that do that.
If a defendant is sentenced to a county court jail sentence, there are a number of different options that we have available in Larimer County for the manner in which that might be served. There's, of course, straight time. If they have a 20-day sentence, they stay for 20 days.
The average cost of housing inmate per day is about $62.50.
There's a program called the Work Release Program,
where inmates are held overnight, and then they're released to go to their job during the day. That way, they pay a fee to stay in that program, plus it keeps them out of jail. We do that in another program, which is called Work Enders. People report like Saturday morning. They are assigned a work crew. They go out and work in the community, or they are held here overnight in the alternative sentencing facility, not in the hard jail. And then they go back out on a work crew on the next day, and then when they're finished that day, they're released to go home. That way they can continue to work in their job during the week, and they can do some service for the community on the weekend. It costs us about $10 to $12 a day to keep people in the Work Enders work release. So it is much cheaper keeping them in those programs than it is into the jail.
Almost 40% of the county's share of your property taxes goes to support law enforcement and public safety in Larimer County. Again, that's $161 a year on a $240,000 home. Unlike other areas of county government, there aren't many outside sources of funds. For that money, you're covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with police protection, search and rescue, and fire. If someone dies unexpectedly, the coroner will be there day or night. The justice system is designed to protect your rights. The people in law enforcement and public safety work together, as well as with other agencies, districts, and communities, to make Larimer County a safe place to live.
Getting to know the families can help make it safe for the kids, make it a little bit more enjoyable for the adults, bring it back to the neighborhood, which is what it is.
Sometimes it's bitter cold, it's raining, it's miserable out, it's 1 o'clock in the morning when the pager goes off to go look for somebody. But it's a neat teamwork aspect.
It's a real comfort to the family, I think, to have one person that they can keep coming back to, that they feel that they know, that they feel knows their loved one's case and scenario, and they have someone that they can trust.
I know when I go into work in the morning, I'm going to do good work. I'm going to be able to work and represent people who otherwise might not get heard.